Yes, good morning officers. Time for today's current affairs videos. So before we start, 11th November 2025, we are going to start a new batch on December 8, 2025 under the able guidance of the great SRIRAM sir. Already 3,500 selections are there. So if you want to get selected, you better be ready for this. So 100 days of classes, special focus on previous year questions, 50 prelims tests will be provided, recorded class are there, complete CSAS and GS coverage, one-to-one personal mentorship, prelims revisions booklets are given, 18 months of current affairs classes and prelims hacks for UPSC toppers. Online course is 9,999, offline course is 14,999. Now these are all the toppers. If you want to be the next, join us on December 8, 2025. Now use the code SRIRAM for excellent discount. Batch starts on December 8th. If you have any queries, you can call 812119195. These are all the products that we offer. So join us fast and make your journey a very successful journey. So if you look at it, what are the topics for today? Let's have a quick glance. First topic, hours ahead of Delhi blast, Jammu and Kashmir conduct search in 10 districts. So very important for internal security and all that. Supreme Court says women are largest minority, not stating presence. Second important topic, rural unemployment down, urban joblessness up, finds government survey. Very important topic. Next, e-commerce sites may have disclosed entry of origin of goods sold. Very important. Next, India and China have goodwill towards us, Sri Lankan PM. So these are the important topics for today. So let's have a quick glance at each one of them. So first, Jammu and Kashmir conduct large-scale crackdown on 10 districts. So that is a game. So if you look at that, you know the blast has occurred, lot of loss of life, lot of problems. That is only because of internal security problems, rebellism. So basically they are saying JM is the reason why this blasts have happened, but no conclusive proof. So already they caught a lot of people in this. So hours before Delhi blast, Jammu and Kashmir police large-scale preventive raids across 10 districts. Terror logistics gets disrupted, neutralize overground workers. And these are all linked to Pakistan occupied Kashmir. That is a major problem. These are the areas which got affected. Baramulla, if you look at it, POK linked properties are there, and OGW, that means over the ground workers. Next, Gandharbal, 39 preventive detentions are there. Anantnag, UAPA linked suspects targeted. And Pulwama and Avantipora raids near encounter sites and expletives. So these are all the major anti-social elements which are available in that society. That is a trigger. Now UAPA for unlawful terror activities and Public Safety Act preventive detention up to 2 years. Now if you look at the broader significance, India shift to proactive security doctrine. So before something happens, we are ready for it. Intelligence-driven policing culture, which is very important because we don't know who is good man, who is bad man these days. Next, zero tolerance message to handlers across borders. That's the major point. And strengthen civil security trust loop in conflict zones. These are all the major reasons. Now, if you look at it, balances security needs, then judicial accountability. That is the advantage we have. So these are all the major things that we have to understand. Now, end of the video, you have mains as well as prelims questions. Please try to answer them. So if you look at this, border significance is very important because proactive security doctrine, intelligence-driven policing culture is very much required, and zero tolerance message. That means no discussing with terrorists, just kick their asses. Next, civil security trust is very much important because people and police, very important. So that will bring a lot of judicial accountability into the picture. And these are all very important points that you have to mention in your mains perspective. Mains perspective, it is very important. And if you look at this, these areas are very important. You have to map them. Mapping is very important for these things. They might ask recent attacks, where it happened and what are the border districts and all these things. From that perspective, this article is very important. And internal security, we have to make sure that the policy is good, implementation is good, everything is good. Otherwise, every Tom, Dick, Harry will come and attack India. That's a problem. So these are all the major points. Please try to understand these. Okay. Now, let's move on to the next topic for today. Women are largest minority, says Supreme Court. So this is very important. We know that India is filled with a lot of diverse minorities and all these things, therefore religious minorities as well as caste-based minorities. But as a gender, women are always treated at a very low level, that is minority level. That clearly shows that we are still not matured enough to bring women into the right sphere. So from that angle, this article has to be understood in different perspective. If you look at Supreme Court judges also, there is only one female judge, which shows that real empowerment has not come even in the judiciary. So not the right way to move forward, especially when India is growing so beautifully. So that kind of gender parity should not be there. So for this, what are the important points we have to observe? Justice B.V. Nagaratna, she will be the future Chief Justice of India, only woman judge of Supreme Court. I think in couple of years she is going to be the first woman Chief Justice of India. So Justice B.V. Nagaratna. Observe that women are India's largest minority with 48.4% population. So less than 50%, representing this ratio is completely declining. Case concerned, Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam 2023 106th Constitutional Amendment Act. Very, very important for prelims. It is providing only 33% reservation for women in Lok Sabha and state assemblies. So what are the articles which are related to it? Article 15 clause 3, which empowers the state to make special provisions for women. So article 15.3, the keyword is special provisions. That is very important for prelims. Next, 14 and 16, you all know equality before law and equal opportunity. So the opportunity part becomes, are women given real opportunity or not? Next, 106th Amendment 2023 grants 33% reservation for women in Lok Sabha as well as state assemblies. That is what we are concerned. So these are all the major things that we have to understand from this perspective. So you please try to understand that these articles are very important and the population is very important. You have to be concerned with this part. Next important, core judicial observations. If you observe, political justice for women, core of the constitution equality. That is major point you can mention in your mains. Next, largest minority concept. If you look at it, even if not religious, women face representational disadvantage. That is a point that you have to mention in your mains. Representational disadvantage. So that is very, very important for mains. Next, census and delimitation. If you look at it, may delay execution by years. That is a major problem. So this thing you have to understand that constitutional mandate can't be stalled indefinitely. 75 years of underrepresentation already we have because of this. This highlights gender gap in political representation despite demographic strength. That is a major thing. Next, shifts narrative. That means if you observe this part, they are saying that women as a politically marginalized majority. So this is the kind of point that you have to mention in your mains. Politically marginalized. That means they are sidelined. So even if you have reservation, it does not mean that there is equal participation. And even if they are participating, behind the women there are men who are taking care but not the women directly. So women having independent authority to take decisions, especially for decision making, has become a very, 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 very big problem. That is what you have to understand. So women are not able to take perfect decisions. The decision making is still with respect to the man only who is behind the woman. That is a major problem. So this is a symbolic moment for women's empowerment jurisprudence in India. So that is very, very important. This article is very useful for paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 as well as women empowerment any topic. So these are the major things that you have to understand. End of the video, you have mains as well as prelims questions. Please try to answer them. Next important topic for today, rural unemployment down, urban joblessness up finds the government survey. So this you have to understand from different perspectives. So let's look at that. First, most important survey which is very important, which describes as periodic labor force survey, the PLFS. Periodic global labor force survey is very, very important. That decides the whole thing. From July to September they have done the survey. It is conducted by the National Statistical Office, NSO. National Statistical Office has conducted this beautiful under the Ministry of this one. So basically what they have found is rural or jobless, rural people completely joblessness, it reduced from 4.8% to 4.4%, which is not a good sign. Similarly, they have also found that the urban joblessness has also increased from 6.1 to 6.2. So joblessness in urban areas has increased while the joblessness of rural areas has decreased according to it. So basically this survey is nothing but a post-pandemic survey which has been conducted. It shows that rural side it is resilient, that means it is strong, while urban side it is almost stagnant. So this rural side and urban side stagnations are not accepted. That is a major problem. Basically the problems are self-employment is hitting very beautifully, but for urban side job opportunities are not there. So these are the major reasons why it is happening. So these are rural urban dual attitude which is being shown in the market. So if you look at the rural side, let's look at the rural side first. What is happening there? Rural, if you look at the rural trend, the beautiful part about rural trend is unemployment fell to 4.1%. So rural side unemployment went to 4.5%. That is because of seasonal agricultural practices which are still following. So it's because of the seasonal agriculture practices we are still following, and also there is a lot of self-employment that people do. So this is a very good sign showing that people are taking care of themselves. They are not waiting for someone to come and do this. Apart from that, if you look at self-employment, that has risen from 60% to 62%. That means self-driven mechanisms and self-jobs. That's also a very good sign. Indicates people are using their skills for better things. Next, apart from that, agriculture empowerment has happened from 56%, has driven to almost 60%. That means more people are being attracted to the farm sector rather than the jobs. So this is another reason why the rural side has been greatly increasing. And if you look at female participation ratio, it has moved from 33% to almost 40%. Therefore, women participation is also increasing. So these are all the major reasons why the rural employment side there is a hit and there is a beautiful things that are happening. So that is a part of rural side. Urban, basically, if you look at urban side, joblessness, job-based salaries, all these together, both female as male, all of them have reduced around at least 2% reduction is there in both of them. So why that thing is there is basically because that over dependence on service sector. Because service sector itself is giving 62% of the workforce, that means other sectors are going for a toss. Other sectors there is no participation also. Why? Because the payments are not good, the work is not standard, that is the reason. So apart from this, we see a lot of in technology also, tech layoffs are there, skill mismatch, and AI and other things coming into picture. All these reasons are actually killing the jobs of the urban crowd, and that is the reason it is going down very, very bad. Therefore, the only solution for it is too much dependence on service sector, especially for the urban growth. Urban growth is not required. There should be a lot of diversification into different kinds of jobs that people do, and that's how we have to win the war and reduce the gaps. So, what is the survey about? Periodic, this one, I've given all the statistics. Then urban employment for genders, dominant, tech layoffs, weak manufacturing absorption and low SMEs. Urban recovery is uneven, seasonal farm operations plus self-employment not happening. Wage rigidity and automation induced demand, that is the reason why everything is going for a toss. So the next topic for today is e-com sites may have to disclose country's origin of goods sold. If you look at this beautiful topic, let's have a quick glance. So Union Department of Consumer Affairs raised draft rules under Legal Metrology Commodities Act. Mandatory disclosure of country of origin, especially for all imported and sold online. That is a major reason, very important for mains. Now the legal metrology packed commodities, second amendment's rule 225 is being followed. In that, every e-commerce platform must include a searchable and storable filter of country of origin in the product listing. For all imported packaged goods, this rule works out. That means sticker must be there about from where that particular good has come, especially on digital marketplaces. So this enables customers to filter products by the origin made in India, made in China, and comments are invited till 22nd November 2025. Implications for stakeholders: that creates a greater control and transparency while shopping online. Modify UI and UX searchable country of origin filters. Declare origin clearly, compliance is very much required. Now this kind of thing will increase the digital consumer rights enforcement and Make in India branding, which is going to happen. So aligns with India's shift to data-based consumer regulation also, that is important. Encourages domestic production visibility on digital shelves, that is also very important. Now this builds trust-based digital commerce ecosystem, which is very important. So all these points are very important for your mains. Enhances India's consumer rights jurisprudence, especially for the e-commerce era, which is that is a feature. The next important topic for today is about Sri Lanka Prime Minister, the first Prime Minister, comments on how India and China are useful to them. Hari Amar Surya, marking 1 year of National People's Power, highlighted India and China's goodwill towards Sri Lanka. Both nations recognize Sri Lanka as their key partner in the Indian Ocean. Humanitarian and fuel aid, debt restructuring support, and diplomatic engagement have all been done by India especially. So humanitarian touch only India is giving. We are not able to give a financial aid to Sri Lanka because it's a doubtful affair. Now, if you look at this, China financial assistance and ongoing belt and road projects, that is a use for Sri Lanka. If you observe it, so that is very important. So India is helping out only with respect to humanitarian aid as this one, but China is going with BRI as well as financial assistances that China is giving to Sri Lanka. So what is Sri Lanka's stance in this? It is considered to be a balanced diplomacy, friendship with all, dependence on none. That's a concept just like others, like a non-aligned kind of thing. Economic IMF program remains vital. IMF program remains vital. 2023 economic crash, that is very important. If you look at that. Now, government avoid full renegotiation to prevent chaos as well as destabilization. Some clauses were just revised. Balancing fiscal discipline with social sensitivity continues as a priority. That is what they are thinking basically. Homegrown process is the whole point, just like indigenization, for justice and reconciliation. Focus on trust building, not external prescriptions, is what they are dealing with. Plan to form a new constitution via consultative approach is the new future for Sri Lanka. So democratic participation plus stability framework, both of them has been recognized according to the new Sri Lankan Prime Minister. So what are the important mains as well as prelims questions for today along with key? First question is about Constitution and auction. Second is about the Constitutional Amendment Act 2023. Third, periodic labor force participation. Fourth, the Legal Metrology Package Commodities Act. Fifth, Sri Lanka's recent this one. Let's move, and key is given. Let's move on to the mains questions. If you look at the mains questions, preventive policing, conflict zones like Jammu and Kashmir, national security imperatives and constitutional freedoms. So they are asking you to discuss with respect to all these points. Next, in viewing women as the largest minority, the Supreme Court reframes political justice as a constitutional obligation rather than a benevolent act. Examine. That is with respect to women participation and all that, to women minorities and all that. Next, the 225 PLFS, stagnation-led urban tract, self-employment, rural side, its dualism and implications. Is asking them to analyze this. All these they want to analyze using the PLFS data. Next, digital consumer transparency and economic nationalism converge in India's latest e-commerce regulations. Critically examine this in country of origin and how it is going to affect the Indian market digitally. Between Delhi aid diplomacy and Beijing's debt diplomacy, how is Sri Lanka's this one? Analyze it in the light of NPP for the government's first year of finishing. So these are all the major topics for today, and that's all for today. Shaman Paidipon signing off. Bye bye.